Hey y'all, thanks for stopping by the Obviously Lee Authentic channel. My name's Leah, that's spelled L-E-A and not L-E-A-H. So we're gonna be talking about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Y'all, I enjoyed this episode, especially at the end. It was a key for me. Like, I need Crystal and Sutton to get their contracts renewed because now I officially like both of them. This is what I've been missing for Housewives, is like not contrived fights, but fights that are like, they're realistic fights and they're not dark fights like what happened with Monique and Candace, or even what happened with Portia and Candy with like drug gate. It's like stuff that like legit happens in friend groups when you're trying to like merge new people into a friend group. So I'm down for the ride, and like I said, I like both of them, so I'm not and the reason why is because I can see both sides of their arguments, and like I get why Crystal feels her way, and I also get why Sutton feels her way. But let's get into this review. So I took notes on my phone. Y'all ain't had no time to do it in my handy dandy notebook, so let's get into it. So it opens up and we have Harry and Lisa. They're at the grocery store. Lisa decides she wants to do kind of like a surprise birthday get together for Garcelle at her house, and Harry's gonna cook. We end up finding out Harry just be cooking and his food look good. He makes pies. He does beef. He do what he do. Harry does what he does. And then the funny thing about that scene to me was Lisa leaving Harry at the front of the register to go get a hamburger. And side note, that hamburger looked delicious. But I was just like, why didn't you order the hamburger while he was buying, like, you know, getting the groceries? Because Lisa doesn't cook. So there was no need for her to be around. Because if I was Harry, I'd have been annoyed. Because I'd have been like, girl, you should have got that. So when I pay, we roll out together. Now I got to stand here and wait for you. But that's either here nor there. Then we see Crystal and her two friends and Erica. They're going to Kathy's house and she's allowing them to use her tennis court. We then end up finding out that Crystal is like fiercely competitive, and it's believable. She says she not, but like it's believable. I also now can see why she we know she had an eating disorder, mainly because when you're that competitive and you're a girl and girls are already kind of like taught to be competitive to vie for guys' attention, I can see it. It's something that's common. Like, I think we're getting away from that now in society, but like being that young, and then you're a Chinese, I think she is Chinese, a Chinese immigrant, and then it's like you're tomboyish, like she likes to keep telling us. And it's just like when puberty hits and it starts to mess with your brain, because it's like, guys don't like me when I do these things, but they like these girls when they do this thing. Plus, I'm not skinny like them. I don't look like them. I don't have blonde hair. I don't have the blue eyes. I'm from a different country. I eat different things. So I could see how she could get in her head and then an eating disorder could happen. So then we see Kathy. She come down in her pajamas and like she's feeding them breakfast and stuff like that. And then they start talking about Erica and Tom. Here's the thing about Erica and Tom. Like I said in my last video, I think they had these issues before, but Erica was trying so hard to like placate him and to put on a good front for all of us that like she was so happy that now with the situation being what it is with the lawyers and with them getting sued, this just doesn't look believable to a lot of people. And I can't blame them for not like believing her story about being upset and like downtrodden and like feeling like Tom was dismissive, because she shares that when she told Tom that she was going to a therapist and she needed I think antidepressants and things of that nature, he kind of was like, what are you depressed about? I have all this money. You live in this big house. You ain't got nothing to be depressed about. And I can believe that because he's from an older generation. But like I said, it's like, Erica, you've been pushing that like he has been wonderful all these years. Like when they popped up, they show scenes of her being like crying when he said he was proud of her. that she got on Broadway. And then remember last season when Garcelle asked her about Tom, she broke down in tears about how he loved her son. So it's like, it's fishy. It looks fishy. That's the thing that sucks. Like, I believe that maybe they really did have issues because I don't think anybody's marriage is perfect. And also with such a big age gap, because they got married when Erica was 28 or 29. She got with Tom and Tom was 61 or 62. So that's a huge age gap. Like, that's not, it would have been different if Erica was 20 something and Tom was 40. That's still a big age gap, but it's not as big as you being basically, that's you being basically 30 and him being 60. That's 30 years. That's 3 decades. Y'all weren't even born in the same time period. So, and so I believe it, but it's just like, it's not believable with the way your situation is going and how Tom is being like drugged through the mud in the media because like he stole that money for those people. So it's kind of like, it just looks like you tried to get out of the marriage before they came for your ducats. So then we have Kyle. So basically Kyle, all of them are taking these really cute like Christmas photos. My mom likes to do those too, where everybody has on pajamas. And then Kathy comes to like, you know, break up the scene. And then we end up finding out that like Kyle and Kim aren't really that close anymore. Or they really have, well, we always knew they had a strained relationship. But I guess it was interesting to hear her perspective on it, especially when they did a flashback to when she was talking to Mauricio. And he was like, how is Kim? Because everybody knows Kim had a bout with drug addiction, I think, or alcoholism. I think she had a bout with both, but I think alcoholism was the worst one. And what happened with Kim, it was sad. Like, everybody likes Kim because Kim is in your face and she is straightforward and she good TV. But everybody was worried about her because you could see that she was struggling on the camera. So basically, Kim changed her number and didn't tell Kyle. But Kyle's been reaching out and I guess Kim hasn't been returning her calls. But that's the reason why, because she didn't give you her new number. But I guess she also hasn't talked to Kathy either because she was saying how Kathy and her talked for 3 hours. And basically Kim said, like, I guess everyone's worried about her being by herself because Kim's daughters are all adults and married and have their families. And then, you know, with all of this going on with the panini, she's been by herself for 9 months. And I guess the family is just worried she might relapse, which is an understandable thing because that happened for a lot of people. A lot of people relapse because it's like the things that you use to cope, like say you like going, what's it called? Going to the gym was a way to keep you in focus if you were having issues, or I don't know, like even like going outside to walk around. Like sometimes people didn't even want to go walking outside because they were afraid. Like things were just different. And then we didn't know what was coming next. So it's like this existential dread that comes. So I totally understand why people relapsed. Because it's scary. Like, the beginning of this was scary. I mean, even now, I understand people being scared because now there's a new variant and they said it's supposed to be really hard. It hits young adults really hard. So I'm like, I totally understand people relapsing. It sucks, but, like, I understand it. So then we go to Erica's rental. Side note, Erica is paying I always get these wrong, $9,500 a rent each month. Baby, I would just buy a home, but that's why I don't get how y'all live in California. I really don't. I'm an East Coast baby. You know, I've been raised in the suburbs of the South. So I definitely do not get how y'all like, I mean, I'm from Northern Virginia. So like, I know how much things cost, but like DC and even like parts of Maryland and Virginia, if you're paying $9,000, like basically not almost $10,000 for a house, you're gonna get more rooms and more space than what Erica has. I guarantee you. It would probably be almost like a 4 or 5 bedroom house even with the pool. Like, she would have way more room. So it just blows my mind that she is paying $9,000. Nine, y'all always mess these numbers up. $9,500 for that home. Although I like the home, like, I would stay there if it was just me as well with my dogs or whatever. Like, I think the cabana is really pretty. I also think the pool is nice. I liked her little setup for all her shoes. I probably wouldn't have put that on the internet, on this show, because they trying to take your stuff, girl. You got to remember that they trying to take your stuff, and they might take your stuff. So, like, I wouldn't have shown all of that, but I thought the setup was nice. So, Sutton and Lisa come over. Lisa brings wine, and then you have Sutton. She brought her a Dolce and Gabbana book called Queens, which was autographed by the designer. And then Sutton's been featured in there twice. You know, she had to let us know. And then they talked about what's going on between Crystal and Sutton. Basically, Sutton is tired of people calling her like a peeping Tom, and she just wants everything to be dead. And she was like, she feels like Crystal's being mean to her, pretty much. Hold up, y'all. Ooh, my bad. So then we go to Garcelle and her boys. They're being moody teenagers. That's it. I think she said they're 13. I believe it. Although I didn't get why one of her kids, I didn't write down his name, was doing like his tutoring session, or maybe it was homework. I think it was a tutoring session in the kitchen while she was cooking. Like, that house is big enough where he could have went to like the den area, or, excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. My throat dry. Or he could have went to his room, because he was getting upset with her moving stuff around, and I understood why he was upset, but it was just kind of like, it's a kitchen and she cooking y'all dinner. Go to your room. So then we see Kyle going to Dorit's house to pick her up so they can head to Lisa's place. And then we find out about Dorit pairing up with like a bridal designer to start creating designs. I've seen Dorit's wedding dresses. They're actually really pretty dresses. Like, y'all don't know this about me, but I'm about to share it. I love like Say Yes to the Dress and like For Weddings. I like those types of shows. So like, I love Say Yes to the Dress Atlanta. I just like hearing about love stories, no matter if they gay, straight, or anything in between. I just like hearing those types of stories. So like, yeah. So like, I like that. I like that type of stuff. So I like seeing wedding dresses, and I like some of her designs have actually been really nice. So I think this is a new lane that I think Dorit will do fine in. Although her reasoning for saying why she would do good didn't make sense, where she was like, you know, I designed a room at a restaurant and that room was tacky. Dorit. And it wasn't like even like something grand. It was a tacky room, and like, I thought she was gonna say more, but she didn't. Like, she just was like, I designed a room. And I was just like, okay, what else have you done? Like, I was just confused, y'all. But yeah, hopefully it's turning out well for her. Like I said, I've seen a few of her dresses like on Instagram, and they've been really nice. So I'm hoping that, yeah, I'm just hoping that like it does good for her. So then we get to Lisa's house. So Kyle and Dorit get there. They give Harry a bottle of champagne. We end up finding out that Kyle had Farrah at 19, which I didn't think she was that young. And then she stressed Harry out, because we know that like Harry's not too jazzed about Amelia and Scott being together, because Amelia's 19 and we know Scott's nasty behind is 37. Then we see Kathy. So Kathy, this is why I'm kind of over Kathy's whole I'm dumb and oblivious thing, because Kathy acts stupid, but she stirs the pot. Because last time when Sutton and Crystal had their little, you know, button heads at that dinner, Kathy brung up about the peeping, like the the peeping Tom thing. And then now she's calling Sutton Thomasina, which Sutton doesn't like because she was like, I don't want to be called Thomasina, referring to peeping Tom. And she was like, I also don't want to be called a violator or a peeping Tom, which is all of this is understandable. That's why I say I understand Sutton's point of view, but I do also understand Crystal. So we keep going. They found out that Amelia, I guess Lisa and them are not spending Thanksgiving with the kids in Cabo. I think she said Cabo. I heard something dealing with Mexico. So it could have been Cancun or Cabo. I don't remember. But I know it was Mexico somewhere. And so everyone thought she was going to Mexico with Scott. And she was like, no. So then they asked Harry. So this is my issue with this whole situation. Harry tries to justify it by saying, when he got with Ursula was 44 and he was 28. That's not that bad of a difference. Because you two are old enough to where y'all understand each other. You're basically, we rounding up, you're 30 and she's 45. That's only 15 years. That is, and y'all are on the same wavelength somewhat, but it's not that drastic. Your child is 19 and Scott is 37 with 3 kids. They are nowhere near, she just graduated high school. They're nowhere near on the same wavelength. It probably would be a little bit better if Amelia was 23 and he was 30 and him being 37, because at least she's in her 20s, not her teens. That's the bad thing, because it just looks weird, and it looks weird and it is weird, because there's no reason for someone at 37 to want to be with someone that's 19. It's not. There's legit no reason. And the thing about it is Lisa, they asked Lisa questions, but Lisa's I don't ask a lot of questions, which is so you can be oblivious to it. And you like being oblivious to it, and you're hoping that your child pops off like a Kardashian. But if you seen pictures of Amelia is starting to morph into one of them. She's starting to dress like Courtney. And she's kind of in between that stage where she looks like herself, but you can tell she is jumping, she's slowly morphing into a Kardashian. And I'm just kind of y'all need to do something about that, because it's weird. So then they surprise Garcelle, and then this is where it kicks off, y'all. So I took notes. I ain't got that much notes, but I took notes for this section. So basically, they present Garcelle a cake. She's excited. She's surprised. She's very grateful that Lisa did this for her. And then there's gifts. So they flash back, and Lisa told the ladies this is what they were doing, and everybody could bring a gift. But Sutton, who always brings gifts, did not bring a gift. So I was girl, that was your fault. Sutton, that was your fault, ma'am. But I think she actually felt left out. I think that was the issue, is that she felt left out, because so Kathy, Crystal, and Kyle gave a joint birthday gift, and then Lisa and Erica gave a joint birthday gift. I don't think they mentioned anything about Dorit, so I don't know if Dorit even gave a gift or not, but I think she felt left out. And remember, not last episode, but when they were in Tahoe, she said she doesn't like feeling left out. That's a trigger for her. So I think she legit felt left out, and you could tell she was feeling uncomfortable and trying to fix herself to get it together. But then here come Kyle pressing her to be what's wrong, are you okay, what's wrong? And I'm Kyle, shut up. Because it's last time when she was on the boat and she was just sitting there, taking in the scenery. And they're Dorit and Erica I think she's going to cry. I think she's going to cry. And I'm everybody picks at Sutton because they know they're going to get an emotional reaction, because she's easy to react, which is crazy. So then Crystal versus Sutton happens. So then everyone's trying to check on Sutton, and then Garcelle and Sutton, they walk out onto the lawn area where there's drinks, and Sutton starts crying, and because Garcelle's what's wrong? And she basically was she doesn't feel, guess Sutton doesn't feel wanted, and she just had a moment. And then Crystal comes up and her and Crystal get into it. And then like Garcelle's like, what can we do to like mediate this situation and make it better? And like Kyle says she wants an apology. And Crystal's like, bitch, that's not happening. Which I can't fault her for that. Because my mom has always taught us, don't say sorry unless you mean it, because your sorry doesn't mean nothing. And that's one less thing you got to answer to the Lord when the rapture happened. So I'm just kind of like, I'm with her. Like, if she's not sorry, then why? Like, you can't force someone to be sorry if they're not sorry, because then the apology that you want from them doesn't mean anything. So then they're going back and forth. And then Sutton is like, what crazy planet do you live on? I don't like, because she's really upset about the word violated. And then Crystal does this smirk where she was like, not the one that you're on. And that hurts Sutton, because you could tell that like hit her, because Crystal is smirking and being condescending. And then they keep going at it. And then she was like, you use the word, but like, Sutton is just upset about the word violated, because it is like, it sucks. It sucks. Nobody wants to be labeled a violator, because you automatically think of something sexual. But there could be different violations, like she's like Crystal said, an abuse of privacy. That means you violated their privacy. I just think Crystal could have used different words, but if that's the way she felt, that is the way Crystal felt. So nobody can force her to take that back. So then they're going at it. And then Crystal, like I said, they said, Garcelle's like, what can we do to mediate the situation? And Kyle blurts out, she wants a sorry. And Crystal's like, that's not happening. So then, like, Sutton's like, you see? And I was like, Sutton, calm down. And then it gets worse, because Crystal's like, look up the word violate. It means an abuse of privacy, and that's what you did. And then Garcelle was like, well, she didn't know you were naked, Crystal. Like, it's not, Garcelle's like, it's not that serious, which it kind of isn't, but it kind of is. And then Crystal said, I don't know what happened, because then Sutton says something, and then Crystal's like, you're jealous. And then Sutton said, I'm done. So then Sutton hauls ass, and Sutton's like, F you, Crystal. And I was like, Miss Southern Belle. She's like, F you, Crystal. Jealous of what? Your ugly leather pants. And the pants were ugly to me, but I cackled, because Sutton's outfits don't be hitting on nothing either. But I was just like, oh, y'all big. I lived. I had a good kiki. I had a good cackle, y'all. Like I said, I really want Sutton and Crystal to come back, because like I said, I understand both sides. I get Sutton not want to be called a violator. I wouldn't want to be called that. But Sutton has to take ownership that she did do something wrong, and she has apologized. But like, Crystal's poking the bear, and she knows what she's doing, because she knows Sutton's emotional. That's why she smirked at her, because she knows she can get Sutton in a tizzy. And then Crystal has a right to feel the way she feels, because if she didn't feel comfortable and then she did feel like her privacy was violated, she has every right to say that. Like, nobody can tell her her privacy wasn't violated if that's how she felt. It's just that, like, Crystal is being slightly mean, because it's just kind of like, girl, leave that lady alone, because you know you winning. Like, you know you are picking at her. But it's funny, because it's like, Sutton is going to give you a reaction. And side note, they seem to be cool, because they were already in each other's comments, laughing at each other. So I want to see what the reconciliation about to be. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic. Drop in the comments below and tell me what y'all think. Like I said, I like both of them. I'm not team anybody. I'm enjoying the ride. This is the Housewives I want and remember. But yeah, y'all, I'm out. Deuces.